Received last unit advising they have babies trapped. 10-9 your location and your unit number.
Papa 97, I'm behind the precinct right now. I can't give you an address because there are no addresses anymore.
And that was police radio from April 27th from the Alberta community. We're here with Chief Alan Martin from Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue. Images from that Alberta area, really hard to look at. And your very own were hit there at Station 4, Chief. Yeah,
Station 4 in Alberta was hit, badly damaged. Our firefighters from Station 4 had actually been out on a call just before that, and the deputy chief knew that they were out, ordered them to come back to the station, and they got back at the station in time to take shelter in the shower, and they put a mattress on top of them, and then the storm hit. So.
And even right behind the fire station, which if people aren't familiar, it was right there on University Boulevard. And there were actually, we're looking at video there of the fire station. In this particular area, right behind the fire station, there were fatalities in that exact neighborhood. Yeah, the firefighters went from being victims of the storm to being rescuers immediately, just like a lot of other people in Tuscaloosa did. So. When they got all their gear together, of course they didn't have a vehicle that they could drive, but it wouldn't have been easy for them to drive anyway. So they went out the back, and as you said, there were some apartments that had been there just right directly behind the fire station, and they found fatality immediately when they went out. And the captain there gave a really nice report of what he was seeing and requested a lot of help. And unfortunately, the radios weren't working at that time because of the radio tower that had been damaged. So communications, one of the very first things to be hit, which is one of the most vital areas.
Yeah, it's really difficult to coordinate the response to something like this when you don't, even when you have good communication, but when you don't have that radio communication, it makes it even harder.
And they were dealing with very limited communication and essentially having to go straight into work. A difficult situation also with you. A lot of people don't realize you were actually recovering open heart surgery just 8 weeks prior to April 27th. That could not have been easy.
No, it was difficult, but it wasn't difficult compared to what everybody else was going through. So, you know, I had gone home a little bit earlier. Went home about 3 o'clock. And I was at home, made sure my wife got home. Then when the tornado hit, I loaded myself back up and went back down to City Hall. So and worked from then on. So it was tough, but again, it wasn't anything compared to what everybody else was going through.
Among the many first responders who did an outstanding job, and Tuscaloosa actually has become a model for how to deal with disaster.
Yeah, Mayor Maddox has done a tremendous job, and he's talked about this all over the country, and he's widely recognized as someone that did this the right way. We as a city, I think, responded to this as well as any city could have, and Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue Service, our guys did a magnificent job, and there are hundreds of stories that we could tell that we don't have time to tell about things that each one of them did. Police department, you know, neighbors helping neighbors. It was just, you know, the neighbors, if you think about it, they were a huge asset for us because they had knowledge about whether their neighbor was at home or not at home, or if they were needing assistance getting out, or, you know, things like that. It was just a tremendous thing to see, and everyone did a great job.
And so many great stories, so many great stories of people, neighbor helping neighbor.